Hello, today I am playing the 1.2 release of Noon In Akhetaten by Exabyte. This is an Egyptian map for Copper 1.3 that has a lot of wide open spaces and a serious Sam kind of a vibe going for it. I'm playing this on co-op monsters on Nightmare difficulty using Copper's 1.3 Nightmare, which really does lend itself quite nicely to the space and the wide open spaces in the map. And it's pretty good. Co-op just seems to beef up the monster numbers. It doesn't do too much in terms of ammo and health balance, so it's kind of just a nice little bonus on top of the usual Nightmare, which I've got a video on me playing on the other channel. This one is a lot of fun to play. It's not a very optimised playthrough. I do go to some unmarked secrets. I messed up a few jumps here and there, and I can't find the last monster at the end, but it seems to be a pretty good representation. I really like the secret fight in this map, which was added in the new 1.2 release. You'll see why when you get to it. Let's just get into it. Enjoy. So starting out in this room here, big old space, just to be picking up some items, no actual combat. These two Ankh switches on either side, that's for the gold and silver key respectively. You need to come back here, that's kind of the objective of the map. But, it gives a sort of sense of the scale of this map. A lot of wide, flat, open spaces. Very serious Sam-esque, as one can imagine. Though that's somewhat unkind on serious Sam. But it has that vibe. So, co-op adds an extra 4 of those Death Knights. Really, all co-op seems to do is add a few more monsters, about 200 more, and a few more ammo packs to compensate. Not much else. It does make some of the bigger slaughter fights a little bit more spicy, which is why I chose to play it like that. Our objective is through these sort of temples at either side here, but you have these 4 courtyard areas in each corner. Primarily the 2 on this end is just for secrets, so I went there, shot the ceiling light, got a grenade launcher, which is a pretty big early item to get, just for speeding things up. On this side here is a grenade hole, so hence the order I did it in, which opens up a little secret room in the starting area. But in here as well, there's one other thing. You'll notice the fight's completely symmetrical, by the way. In this side, though, you've got this lovely, conspicuous mega health, which I pick up, which is a trap. Nice trap, this one. Traps of this nature, you have enemies on all sides, you have ogres at the front and the back. In these situations, you don't want to make too big of movements. You don't want the ogres behind you to get an opportunity to shoot, because if they do, it's going to make it much harder to dodge the grenades after a chaotic sort of bounce. So in those situations it's best just to kind of hang around the back wall the best that you can. And then you get the reveal of the fiends, which is nice, and then you get the pressure from the hordes. And with the Copper's 1.3's restored ball projectiles, you've got to keep moving to avoid those, you know? But it works alright, it all works quite nicely. It's a really satisfying little fight to start with there. There is an armour I could have picked up at the start of the map, but I just thought it's not really necessary. And that's because when you come back here, back into the starting room, you see this desert dopefish. Red armour, huge item, really huge for survivability and everything. And the super nail gun, so super nail gun, that's great. Shooting these seals is a way of getting the LG directly above where I'm standing now. Big deal to do so. But these are the 2 paths you have to take to open up the temple. You can see here the utility of the grenade launcher, purely just for mincing those guys. Missing on these poor unfortunate fellas here, but that's okay, that's okay. Super nail gun though, it's just faster, really, that's the great thing about it. The perforator, super nail gun, whatever, you know, it's it just speeds up killing things just that little bit. No, for survivability, you don't need it. You could do a spam entirely without the secrets, basically, and, you know, there's nothing which I'd say is necessary for your success. Right, so, there are a couple of optional secrets in this map, which I'm going to go to now, just because I wanted to, which makes this a casual run. I do mess this up, though, which is quite embarrassing. I should have just stopped and made the jump again. They're funny little slopes here, and getting around this corner is kind of a pain. In general, as you can see. So you're going to see me fumble about here, probably waste about 30 odd seconds. Yeah, there you are. Ooh, embarrassing. That's okay. This isn't a speedrun. I did estimate if you wanted to speedrun this, it would probably be about 20 minutes if you're pushing it. And I think that's about accurate, to be honest with you. Accumulated mistakes I'm making here, the inefficiencies and cleanup. Yeah. But nice little serious Sam secret there. Red armor and Omega, so I mean that's a huge item. You see that that specific room on the intermission screen at the end of the map, so if you don't find it, you'll think, oh, what was that? But more importantly, we're back here. So, there's an archway behind there which is open. That is what opened when we shot those 4 seals in the main courtyard area. I do think this particular fight here, these fights here, they're very, very gentle, all things considered. I mean, 3 knights, even with Copper 1.3's faster, more aggressive knight behaviour, doesn't do much in that sort of space. You're not really being pressured very hard compared to where you are anywhere else. This is cool though, I mean, this is a really cool use of these dogs. This map uses dogs quite frequently, like fiends, just to get in the way of trying to shoot grenades. Because dogs are really fast and really unpredictable. So there's some really good usage of them on this map, a place like this in particular. You can run up the side of this pyramid while you're fighting everything, but then the fiends can do the same, and then you have the fiends launching themselves at you sort of chaotically from a higher ground, and it just makes it a little bit more spicy and dangerous. Another sort of unmarked secret there is getting the little constellation center print for going behind the pyramids. I just did that because I wanted to. Some bad grenade work here, some very bad grenade work. But it can't be helped. Anyway, we were pressing some switches earlier. This has opened up our first temple, where we get the silver key, I believe. I wasn't very good with my ammo here, so I went to get the nails from this edge. There is a glut of ammo in many arenas, and I don't use them efficiently. A really good run of this map would be taking advantage of all of the pickups and minimising the amount of running back and forth over these wide spaces. This is a nice fight here though, with the pillars. This is a fight which works a lot better on Nightmare, purely because you get the much faster knights, so they're actually able to do things. But what I'm doing here is I'm just waiting for everything to drop down before I start shooting my grenades. I've only got a very limited number of them, and the more obviously I circle, the more tightly they'll get packed into the centre. And now they're very nicely packed in the centre. You also have these wonderful scrags that have decided to descend. So if you shoot some grenades down at the ground, you know, the splash radius on that's going to get them. So I put one there at their feet, for example, just to blow up underneath them. Doing the same there. The dogs are well used here with the drop down, just because at the point where you want to start shooting grenades or you want to start playing aggressively, they just get in the way. They interrupt circle strafing a little bit. And as you can see here, that was quite efficiently done. It's a timed fight now. So, no matter how fast you go, you're going to be waiting for this door to open. All up the walkway. Wake up that fella just so I can get one nail hit on him. Easier to hit with the perforator up close. I also am quite aware that in Copper 1.3 sometimes they fire in bursts, so instead of getting hit for one shamble lightning, which is, you know, fine, getting hit for 3 in a row without them flinching, that sucks. That's not a nice feeling. So it's better to abuse cover and pillars here than to try and shamble dance for them. This opens up down there. Now what I tried to do here doesn't work, unfortunately, but that's okay. I wanted to come down here, jump in here, and be shooting grenades straight down that hallway before these fiends appeared. But unfortunately they all pushed in far too quickly, which is a shame, because usually you can get them bunched up in that archway and just spam your last few grenades and, you know, do a lot of damage, which is satisfying. Anyway, this area is done. Silver key, sorted, no more issues. Time to go home. It repopulates the area a little bit. Weirdly, you have these 3 enemies on top of the pyramids, but they can't really do much. And we're coming back here anyway, so we'll just ignore them. This fight is cool in this courtyard. I enjoy this one. It starts to spawn in grunts at the back there, who, if you aren't playing aggressively, you might feel pressured to kill immediately because they can do the hit scan damage. But you want to be pressing these buttons inside the water. I found that it's better to climb out of the water when you press them because it spawns a load of fish in the middle who can block your progression. And it'll start progressively spawning more and more stuff in here. And this is nice, I like this. It's good use of coppers and forces. You have the fiends who get in the way just that little bit, just to be a little bit scary. The only thing I would say is that I don't feel these Vors really have enough coverage. They really don't want to fight you. Maybe it would have been better to have the Vors right in the very centre by the monument. But the last little spawn here are the knights. And what I do here is got everything together, just shoot the grenades at the ground again. Just really, really satisfying bit of work. In general, in Quake, a little hint for you is if ever you're doing anything involving slaughtery type stuff, if you've got a grenade launcher and a rocket launcher, use the grenade launcher, it's faster. It's much, much faster. The penalty for missing is marginal when you've got big groups of enemies because of the splash. So just go nuts, basically. And also here you can see they get caught on these corners of the pool, and that was a really, really dumb mistake. Getting caught up there, not the best idea. But it would be so much more fun if these guys were more active and it was possible for them to be, you know, there the entire fight. It would have kept me moving in a way which is satisfying. Fiends always get stuck in this water. They always jump into here. Always. I'm going into this water for two reasons. One, there's a secret switch which opens up back here where there's some ammo, which I'm not going to go for yet, but I'm at least going to kill the two spawns in there. And also there's just a lot of ammo down there. I didn't do the maths really in terms of what I needed for ammo or whatever else. I just went for it. This is another one of those quite dangerous firing alleys. It's very narrow and you have the bits where you can get caught up on, but the intention is really to force you out, and it forces you out here to this pin situation. You've got the Vors on either side. The safest thing for you to do in this situation is simply to do what I'm doing here. Take the corners, U-turn. It's very easy to get hit by an errant projectile from a Scrag or a Death Knight when you're dodging those projectiles, if you're like against these back pillars on the walls. That can knock you back slightly, kill your momentum, and then the Vor balls can hit you. So watch out for them. But staying in the middle with this sort of grenade spam, it's just not worth it. Just get out of the middle. Let things congregate in the centre. Control this underneath space here. That gave me an opportunity just to spam some grenades straight up. So, pretty efficient. Not bad, not bad. So where do we end up going next? This outside fight. This is a cool fight. You could probably do this much more efficiently. I'm not sure. Really good use of the dogs here. It gives you a grenade launcher and immediately frustrates your use of them. I decide what I think is the best thing to do is to come down here, kill all of the shamblers early with the quads, and just use the grenades to filter funnel all of the irritating fiends. Coming back here gives you a secret. I'm not sure how it's a secret, but it gives you a rocket launcher. You want to have your quad really though, at least for this part of it, purely because those grunts on Nightmare, they can chip your health down pretty quickly. Just being able to set up with a few grenades there just to neutralise that trap immediately is satisfying. And what's happened here as well is these two sort of corridors that I came down to get behind the building, they opened up their little closets that were full of knights. So I'm killing as many as I can, and then I'm taking the opportunity to get around and get away. And as you can see here, with the faster Nightmare knights, you can get caught up and snagged on those guys really easily. And the dogs as well come in from this angle, so if you hang around in the back for too long, the chances are these guys are going to probably filter toward you. Not what you're really looking for. This is the one part of this where I thought to myself, like, I could do this a lot better in terms of cleanup and gameplay. Like, one thing that I think I probably should be doing here is just using more LG, because the secret fight I'm going to do in the future gives me a huge amount of LG, so judicious movement in that means I can just be constantly topping myself back up, but I don't instead. I also decided to go back here to pick up this rocket ammo, but in doing so, the downside of this is that you're spreading the enemies out further and further and further. When you stay in one area, you're getting them more likely to kind of blob up toward you, especially if you're moving in a circle or a semicircle. When you just start pushing off in one direction, it does mean that everybody starts to filter in a straight line and separate out. You know, I said that the dogs can frustrate you with the explosions and things like that. That's a really good example of the sort of situation in this map. Probably the most dangerous thing that can happen is things just coming off from the sides. You're in these big open spaces, so getting cornered in terms of getting cornered movement-wise is less likely. But having a fiend or something come up and just get in the way when you're trying to shoot, that's more likely here. And unfortunately, because of the way these little closets work, monsters get hung up in them, so I found it kind of unavoidable to have to come back here and just clear things up. Just make sure everything's gone, everything's dead. See these guys here, little stragglers, before we head into our next arena. But I do like that fight a lot. It's fun, it's satisfying, it's a good use of the quad. I forgot entirely about these guys. What I should have done is immediately backing out and shoot my grenades. Because if you do that efficiently, they can never even get through the doorway. But it's okay. It's a nice little ambush. You know we love it. Sequence completed. I now just leave purely because I want to kill this guy. And I really wanted to shoot some rockets at that, and then I took a lot of damage. I was a little concerned here how much damage I took. Usually I can come to this area with 120 health or something. This is another fight quite similar to what we saw before. We've got guys up top spamming on the sides. I choose to kill the 2 4s here just because I can. But really, once you get up top here, you're alright. The pressure is it spawns in this big cloud of wizards, which is great fun to kill. Pressing the buttons opens up 2 cages, like a cage on either side down below, which releases more death knights, and more scrags come down. So that's nice too, but it's a relatively easy fight as long as you stay on the upper levels, work around the edge, nothing can really hurt you. You're going to be okay. Just don't dodge into the projectiles, play it safe. Everything's dead. How exciting is that? Interesting trap that, because stuff only wakes up when I think they're all deaf, so it's best just to run out the entire doorway, let them funnel through to you. Have a good time. Anyway, what we've done with all that is we've unlocked the lifts here, which give us the gold key. There is a secret, the most subtle of all the secrets here. I did find as well that jumping in here, if you jumped into this little door before the door was fully open, sometimes it would spawn the guys up top, which kind of wasted a bit of time. Easier then just to wait a split second. So we got our key. Now, this is where the map would want you to go back. In the original version, you would go back to the start, fight your way back there, put the keys into the starting room, unlock the exit. However, this is an optional path. It spawns the key back at the temple, and it lets you into this area here, which makes you think, ooh, there's going to be a big fight here. But no, it's kind of like it's a bit puzzly. There are 2 hidden switches. That one's very hard to find, to be fair. And the one down here, you'll find it if you just kind of look around, so it gives you the incentive to look for the other one. This opens up the secret war room, which is the new secret optional fight and secret exit to this map, which I really liked and why I made this video in the first place. Respawning ammo in all the corners. Let's get serious. This is fun. So it just flood fills the entire arena over and over and over again. And over and over and over. What I found was best to do here was rely on the old trusty grenade launcher and circle strafe. I mean, that's basically all there is to it. But you need to be aware as you're doing so, you're against the timer effectively, where it's going to keep dumping more and more stuff in here. There is, if you look, a quad suspended in the sky. Eventually I do get that, it's tantalising. But Potentially you could rocket jump up to it. I don't know, I've never really tried that, but it's a waste. You don't want it to the end anyway. But you can see here it's just the main risk I'm playing with here in this early stage is I don't want to hit myself with a grenade. Also, if you jump around here, the lip between the water and the platform, if you hit that, it will kill your momentum completely. So that can really get you in trouble, which is why I'm not jumping very much here. I'm mainly just walking. But it's a lot of little dodges and just keeping stuff in the centre and spamming those grenades in there. If you get into a bad situation, use LG. You've always got the ammo respawning. You know, you've got the Vors now, even more recently on against dead stops. You don't want to get hung up on a monster, you just want to keep on moving. Listen out for the spawns above you, know? It's getting a little bit more intense now, so there you go. Whoop, almost got hung up. Gotta keep moving. It's just, I love this. The tempo just increases and increases and increases. You get the respawning health in the middle, you get the respawning armour as well. So they're on a timer, just like the ammo. So, really, just do your best to survive. It's a lot easier than it looks, to be honest with you. It's just, it's thrilling. I would have liked there to be a little bit more spice in this, I'll tell you that, but I'll tell you that afterwards. But as you can see here, the tempo is increasing. The amount of stuff in the middle is increasing. Thankfully, the Scrags, they do a hell of a lot of damage to things in fighting. Which is great. A big risk as well when you get the quad here is hurting yourself with it. But I want to clear as many of these knights as fast as possible because it dumps all of these damn shamblers on you as a little finale, a little kappa. And you can see there they almost got me. You just want to keep things as clear as possible. That's the fight. It's a really good fight. I just wish it had spawns at the end. That would have been cool if it rained loads of spawns down. You can just exit the map here, but we're going to 100% it, so we're heading back to the start. We're going to go back to the normal progression. We're rejoining the rest of the world. I did make sure to stock up a little bit on ammo before we continued on our path. I didn't really need to, but I wanted to. And on our way back, we have this ambush here. This is a fun ambush. It's not a particularly dangerous ambush if you keep your head, but it's one of those ones where like you might panic and run toward the wall of reinforcing on the other side, a lot of projectiles to dodge, a lot of stuff getting in the way. That was a bad mistake. But if you don't, it's okay. Sort of quarter circle, U-shaped dodging to avoid being hit by those projectiles. You just saw how much damage and knockback a single projectile from these guys did. So you just don't want to put yourself in a bad situation, really. Fully loaded on ammo, armour, another quad, and our big finale fight. This fight here is, you got loads of space, it's not really an issue. I don't think I handled this one very well at all, not just because I miss a monster, but because I just think that there's probably a more efficient way of dealing with this. My main concern was just getting rid of the annoying Vors, because I didn't want to be spamming loads of shots into them. But I realise now I really should have been putting some extra shots onto the enforcers on the roof. It's just not very efficient. You can probably shave a good minute off what I do here, at least, just by being more judicious with your use of quad. But it's okay. Usually there are 3 shamblers who are in the starting room where you put the keys, and they usually filter out into the middle. They've not done this here, so what I'm doing is I'm circling and being very careful to get hit by a random fiend or rocket myself. Is I was thinking, where have my shamblers gone? And I was getting a little confused thinking maybe they hadn't woken up. So I'm looking here, I'm looking in there thinking, are they in there? Maybe. And then I'm also thinking, well, I do know that Death Knights always get stuck in this map, in the room with the reflecting pool. So just head back, and there was, for whatever reason, the shamblers had worked themselves all the way back here. I have no idea why, but they had. But there's always a couple of them stuck in that corner back there, so it's always worth coming back to this area. Always. The objective when you're done with this fight is to really have 4 monsters left. That's the dream. And you can see here, I've got my Vor over there, who I assume I killed, but I hadn't. This was my folly, my big folly. because I see there's one monster left, and I was thinking, oh, where could they be? Oh, they must maybe be stuck in that reflecting pool area. At one point I had a monster stuck in the sky above where you get the gold key initially. So I went back to check that now, because I was thinking, I have no idea where these fuckers are. So I don't look because they're right tucked in the corner. That's a big error. A big error. Kind of unfortunate. So we do waste, unfortunately, a minute of our time. And, you know, it is what it is. It could be worse. But it made me cry a little inside. But I did think to myself, I'm not going to grind this map to get a good time or anything. I'm just playing passively. I'm just having a casual, fun time. So fuck it, let's just keep going. Panic it. There he is. Oh, thank goodness. Anyway, that's the end of the map. A little spawn surprise at the end there, which I'm sure has killed nobody. Drop down into the hole. So there you have it. Wonderful, really wonderful. High Noon in Akhetaten. Really cool map by Zettabyte, Exabyte site. I'll put a link on the slips here. Please go play that for yourself. I strongly recommend it. That's it for me now. Until next time, bye.